Hello friends, welcome back to the channel Sultan Commerce Tutorials. In today's video, we are going to start a new topic that is the various acts enacted by the law to protect the consumers. So there are various acts which are enacted by the law in order to protect the consumers against exploitation which is caused by the business concern through unfair trade practices and corrupt practices. So let's study each act one by one. So let's start. The Consumer Protection Act 1986. It was enacted to protect the interest of the consumers. It protects the consumers against defective goods, deficiency service, unfair trade practices, and other forms of exploitation. So this act protects the consumers against the exploitation which is caused by the business concerns through by selling defective goods. That is, those goods which have defects and which which there are many repairs and deficient services and unfair trade practices such as adulteration, black marketing, and hoarding, etc. So to protect the customers against exploitation. It provides for setting up of three-tier machinery. This means setting up three customer codes at all three levels, that is district level, state level, and national level. At district level, the consumer code is known as district forum. At state level, the consumer code is known as state commission, and at the national level, the customer code is known as national commission. So the second act, the Indian Contract Act 1872, it was enacted to protect parties involved in the contract. So so in every contract there are minimum of two parties involved. There can be more than two, but minimum there are two. It makes compulsory for all parties to carry out their promises, the terms and conditions which they had agreed. So each party involved in the contract needs to fulfill his part of promise, terms, and condition. For example, the seller has to fulfill his promise, terms, and condition of selling good quality goods and at the price which had been agreed at the time when the contract was made, and the product should be of the same features and specification and model which was agreed at the time of contract. And the buyer has to fulfill his part of promise, terms and condition of paying the cash at time, and if it is credit transaction, I should pay the cash on the date which has been agreed. Remedies when there is breach of contract. So what is breach of contract? So breach of contract means when any of the party involved in the contract does not fulfill his part of promise and his part of terms and conditions. For example, the buyer after receiving the goods does not pay the money on time, so that is breach of contract. Or when the supplier supplies the goods, the buyer tells that no, he cannot take goods as he is not having money at the time, so that is breach of contract. So in order to protect that party who has fulfilled his part of promise and his part of terms and conditions, this act has been enacted. He will get various remedies which are available according to the law. Who will get? The party who has fulfilled his part of promises and terms and conditions. So the third act, the Sale of Goods Act 1930. This act has been enacted in order to protect the customer, the buyer, from those goods. For example, the third act, the Sale of Goods Act 1930. So this act has been enacted in order to protect the customer or the buyer when the goods purchased does not comply with the express or implied conditions or warranties. For example, uh, you buy a washing machine through online, and the washing machine what you saw in through online is totally different what you get after the delivery. The specification are different, the features are different. So this is like a type of unfair trade practice which is followed by the business, and it can also happen in offline also. The washing machine which you saw at showroom differs from the washing machine which you get after delivery at your home. In order to protect the customers from such unfair trade practices, this act has been enacted. The fourth act, the Essential Commodities Act 1950. So, what are essential commodities? Essential commodities like essential vegetables like onion, tomato, and milk, and then fuel, petroleum products, and then essential medicines. This type of products are known as essential commodities. It controls, this act controls production, supply, distribution of essential commodities, checks the rise in price of EC essential commodities. If the price of essential commodities increase, so this act verifies what's the reason behind the increase in the price, and tries to minimize the price, ensure equal distribution of EC essential commodities. Sometimes the corrupt business concern try to distribute the essential commodities unequally in order to earn more profit. So, this act controls this particular types of malpractices and all. The fifth, the next point, the act also provides for action against antisocial activities of profiteers, hoarders, and black marketers. The next act, the Agriculture Produce Grading and Marketing Act 1937. The act prescribes grade standards for agriculture commodities and livestock products. This act prescribes giving standards to agriculture commodities and livestock products. What are livestock products? Livestock products are example meat, egg, etc. So this act prescribes giving standards to agricultural commodities and livestock products, so that the customers are well aware about the qualities which are available. If these great standards are present on those agriculture commodities and livestock products, it it is like a simple, it denotes the quality of those products. This act stimulates conditions which govern the use of standards. So it lays down condition based on which the standards are given to those agriculture commodities and livestock products. Lay down procedure for grading, marking, and packing of agricultural produce. The quality mark provided under the Act is known as AG mark, that full form is agricultural marketing. So the quality which is quality mark given on the agricultural commodities and livestock products is the symbol is AG mark, and the full form is agricultural marketing. The next act, the Prevention of Food Adulteration Act 1954. So what is food adulteration? Food adulteration means adding unwanted substance or external substance to the food, which is of the same color and appearance which the main food is of. For example, with tea leaf, they mix similar types of leaves which are of same color and appearance in order to earn more profit. So, in order to protect the customers from this food adulteration practice, and in order to ensure the quality of the food materials and thereby ensuring the health of the customers, this act is very important. So, the next act, the Standards of Weight and Measures Act 1976. So, the provisions of this act apply to only those goods which are sold in weights and measures. This act protects the customers against malpractices of the business, such as underweight, undermeasure, like that. So the next act, the Trademarks Act 1999. This act has replaced Trade and Merchandise Mark Act 1958. The act prevents the use of fraudulent mark on products and thereby providing protection to the consumers against such products. So, uh, there are many illegal persons or corrupt business concern and business person who are selling. For example, we can take clown iPhone mobiles. clown iPhone mobiles. So these iPhone mobiles are very will have some very similar appearance or same appearance and with the same logo or trademark which the actual iPhone has. So this clone iPhone mobiles have the similar appearance or the same appearance and the same trademark or the logo which the actual mobile has. So this illegal person, this is the illegal activity which are followed by corrupt business person in order to fool the customers and sell their fake products and earn profits. So the next act, the Competition Act 2000. This act was has repealed and replaced the Monopolies and Restrictive Trade Practices Act 1969. Repealed means and making officially any act invalid. So this Competition Act 2002 limits monopoly in market and promotes competition, because competition is very important to the customers, because if there is more competition the customer will get better quality of product at a reasonable price and has a big and has a great various types of choices to make. So the next act, the Bureau of Indian Standards Act 1986. The Bureau of Indian Standards performs two major activities, that is, formulation of quality standards for goods. So this Bureau of Indian Standards establishes and lays down quality standards which the manufacturer has to follow while manufacturing the goods if he desires ISI mark on his goods and products. The second function is their certification through BIS certification scheme. The another thing is the manufacturer can proceed further by putting ISI mark on their products and goods if and only they follow these quality standards while manufacturing the goods. It also set up a grievance cell where the customers can complain about those where the customers can complain about the quality of those goods and products which are having ISI mark. So these were the various acts enacted by the law in order to protect the customers from the exploitation. So that's all in today's video. If you like the video, please do subscribe, share and like the video. Thank you.